Okay, gang. YieldMax announces their monthly ETF for Group C for this coming Friday, March the 7th. We start off with CVNY, Kavana, paying out a whopping $3.92. I believe this is their first distribution. ULTY coming in at 47 cents, CONY 60, Biggie 50, Soxy 49, GPTY 31. YMAC and YMAX at 24 and 15, and we have some others. So this video is going to give you a roundabout payout based on the number of shares. So if you own a certain number of shares, multiply times this price, this is a good estimate of what you should get. It's not an exact science. The math is rounded. But let's get to it. All right, so the X date is going to be March the 5th. The payment date is going to be March the 7th, except for Biggie and Soxy. Their payment day will be tomorrow. You would have had to own them on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so always expect the dividend on the dividend payout. Oh, well, the declaration date, which will be tomorrow. No, that's today. I'm sorry. But expect the dividend price to drop by the amount that's going to be distributed to the shareholders. So, for example, if the stock is 25, they're going to pay out $2. Then expect it to drop at least by $2 down to maybe 23. Depending on how the market is, if there's buying pressure, it may not drop as much. It could drop more. You may have that being withheld from the stock price, and then there's a catalyst in the market that causes it to drop even further. So be aware of that. All right, first up we have Fiat, previously paid out 54.98, currently paying out 68.34. So if you own 50 shares, that would be $34.17. 1,000 shares would be $683.40, and 10,000 shares would be $6,834. Next, we got ULTY. ULTY, previously paid out 53.69. We have a decrease for amount of 46.53. If you own 50 shares, that would be $23.27. If you happen to own 400 shares, which is what I do, that would be $186.12. And if you own 5,000 shares, that would be $2,326.50. All right, for AMDY, previously paid out 38.12, paying out a reduced amount of 25.33. If you happen to own 50 shares, that'd be $12.67. If you happen to own 333 shares, which is what I own, that would be $83.59. If you own 5,000 shares, that'd be $1,266.50. All right. Next is PP. Previously paid out 66.65, currently paying out 37.73. That's almost half. So if you own 100 shares, that would be $37.73. 2,000 shares, $754.60, and 10,000 shares will give you $3,773. Next, we got Kavana, CNVY. All right, there was no previously paid out, so this is going to be their first distribution, which is very, 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 very nice. No drum roll, but you can if you want to. It's paying out $3.91.49. So if you own 50 shares, that would be $159.75. 1,000 shares would be $3,194.90. And if you happen to own 10,000 shares this early in the game, that would be a whopping $31,949. Congratulations to those who own Kavana. Yeah. All right, so CONY. CONY is generally the major one for this one, but CONY has been beat down this last month. All right, so CONY previously paid out $1.468. It's currently paying out $59.89. All right, so if you own 50 shares, that would be $29.95. 5,000 shares, $299.45. And let's see here. If you own what I own, which is 5,140 shares, that will be $3,078.35. And if you're so fortunate to own 10,000 shares, that would be $5,989. Next, we got MSFO. Previously paid out $36.15. Currently paying out a reduced amount of $28.45. So 500 shares will yield you $142.25. 2,000 shares will be $569, and 10,000 shares will be $2,845. All right. NFLY previously paid out $1.07 Yes, I said it right. $1.705. And it's currently paying out a major reduced amount of $40.08. All right. So if you own 100 shares, that'd be $40.08. If you own 2,000 shares, it'd be $108. $801.60. If you own 10,000 shares, that would be $4,008. Next, we got ABNY. Previously paid out $40.33. Currently paying out a increase of $48.05. So 50 shares would yield you $24.03. 1,000 shares would be $480.50. And 10,000 shares would be a nice $4,805. All right. Next, we got the target 12, which is going to be two of these. So the first one we have is Biggie, and they will pay out tomorrow. So be mindful of that. So you would have had to own these on Tuesday. All right. Previously paid out 51 cents. Currently paying out 50 cents. All right, so if you own 100 shares, that'd be $50.25. 1,000 shares is $502.50. And if you happen to own 10,000 shares, that'd be $5,025. Next on the target 12, we have Soxy. Previously paid out around 52 cents, currently paying out around 49 cents. All right. So if you own 100 shares, that'd be $48.83. 2,000 shares, $976.60. And 10,000 shares would be $4,883. All right, next we're going to be going over our weekly ETFs for the YieldMax. There are several of these. First up is YieldMax. YieldMax previously paid out $19.44. Currently paying out an increased amount of $24.05. So I happen to own 50 shares. And if you happen to own 50 shares, that would be $12.03. 1,000 shares would be $240.50. And 10,000 shares would yield you $2,405. All right, YMAG. YMAG previously paid out $18.62, has a small reduction for a reduced amount for $15.14. So if you own 500 shares, it'd be $75.70. 2,000 shares would be $302.80. And 10,000 shares would be a nice $1,514. All right, next weekly ETF, we have LFGY. All right, previously paid out $62.80. It is currently paying out a reduced amount of $46.37. So if you own 500 shares, that'd be $231.85. 2,000 shares would yield you $927.40. and 10,000 shares would be a nice $4,637. Our next weekly ETF is GPTY. Previously paid out $33.53, paying out currently $30.94. 500 shares would be $154.70. 2,000 shares would be $600.18. I said it wrong. 2,000 shares would be $618.80, and 10,000 shares would be a nice $3,094. Our next weekly ETF is SPTY. Previously paid out a nice $33.53, and is currently paying out a less than pleasing amount of $17.09. So 500 shares would yield you $85.45. 2,000 shares would be $341.80, and 10,000 shares would get you $1,709. All right, next is QPTY. Previously paid out $33.53, currently paying out, that is not right. That is not right. Currently paying out, let's see here. I got that one wrong, didn't I? Yep. GPTY is currently paying out $30.94. So I don't have those figures for you all. I am sorry. I got the wrong slide here. All right, moving right along. Sorry. Next, we have RPTY. They have not paid out a weekly distribution yet, and so therefore we do not have any data for that. All right, so once again, these are a brief summary of what we just went over. Let's continue to build our positions, catch these on the pullback while they're low if you're trying to build it, and let's get the money. Be careful of the volatility because there will be a lot of fluctuation on these positions. All right, I'm out, gang. Have a great one.